Good morning, all my painter friends. Hope you're having a really great day. As you can see, the sun is shining in the window there, so it's going to be a nice day today. Well, I wanted to come on again this morning and say hello and good morning and see how you're doing on your painter journey, on your watercolor journey. I've put a couple of encouragement tapes on simply because I know how important that is at the beginning. I remember a few people when I would post or say something about, oh, I don't think I can do this, and I would speak to myself in those ways, which is wrong, and you don't want to do that. You want to use encouraging words for yourself or for anyone else. But it's really important for yourself at first when you're trying to learn this watercolor medium because it is not easy. It's not easy at all. It's fairly difficult, but anybody can do it. It just takes time, patience, practice, learning the art, just like anything else. Learning is a key part of, what we're doing, what we have to do, or what we want to do in this case. I did acrylics for 40 years or more, and even though I painted like that, and I'm a fairly good painter, I sold paintings and so forth, not to pat myself on the back, but to say this. Although I painted, I didn't think, for some reason, I didn't think that I could do watercolor. Why, I don't know. But as you can see, I can do watercolor. And if I can, you can. Everybody learns at a different rate, right? So what time it took me, maybe a different time it took you. It takes you, it might even take you a shorter amount of time. You may find a creativity side of you that you never even knew you had. So I'm just wanting to come on this morning to give you some more encouragement, get you to speak to yourself in that voice that's affirming, that says, I can do it, I will do it, I am going to try it. The worst that could happen is you don't like it, you won't be doing it. If you have the desire to do watercolor, chances are that's not going to happen if you give yourself enough time to learn it, get used to it. Everybody thinks they've got to do a painting right off the bat. No, 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 especially with watercolor. I mean, the first things you really need to learn are the basics of watercolor. What are the basics of watercolor? What do they mean? How do they work? And then once you've kind of got a good idea of that, then you start to apply it on paper. It could be a couple of little strokes. It could be just a wash, a watercolor wash. Learn how to do lines, learn how to do squiggles, learn how to move the brush. It's all a process. For instance, one part of watercolor is learning how to leave the white spaces for your highlights, okay? I can't tell you how long it took me to learn that, to get it into here so that it goes into my hand and, and that thinking starts happening on the paper. It took me a long time. I got it now, but it took a long time for me to make it go from my head to my hand to the paper, right? As I was painting, I'd remember it most of the way through or after or so forth and so on. And of course, there are other things you can do for that. I mean, you can use whites to actually make your highlights after, but the whole idea of remembering to leave the whites in the paper is part of painting with watercolor. It's no harm, no foul if you don't do it that way. If you choose to use a white paint, gouache, acrylic, Chinese white, watercolor white, I mean, and they probably have other kind of whites that are better now, I don't know. But one thing I would like to say for sure, never let anybody tell you how to paint. Once you learn some basics, then your creativity gets stirred up. Your creativity goes on that paper or canvas or whatever it is. Everyone has different opinions about how this rule or that rule goes. But some of the most famous paintings in the world don't even usually haven't used those things, and they've put their own thing down before they really even knew what those rules and guidelines were, right? So they're guidelines, things to go by, but it does not mean by any means that you have to do it that way. If you come up with a better way, you might have something different that you absolutely love. That's your creativity coming out. So put it down on the paper. Somebody's going to love it. It's just how it works. So I really hope that these encouraging messages encourage you, because I'd really love to think that I helped you to go past that voice, that discouraging voice that, basically is telling you, no, I can't do this. No, I can't do that. No, that's not going to work. It's too hard. It's too confusing. It's too frustrating. Believe me, those words and voices can go on and on. I listened to them for way too long. And then one day, because I really wanted to learn watercolor, one day I just said, okay, that's it. Shut up. Shut up, voices. I don't want to hear you anymore. And I told myself, you are going to sit down and you're going to start from number one. And what I did was I did a lot of listening, watching, reading, learning the ins and outs of watercolor, what they mean, how they're different from this medium and that medium. I love art, but chances are you do too if you're trying to learn and you want to learn to watercolor. One time I wrote a post, I don't remember, it was in one of the groups, and I wanted to do oil type painting because I love Bob Ross is the one that inspired me to paint from the very beginning. I mean, he was my inspiration from day one. And just the way that flows and everything on the canvas, but it's oil. It's different. That's a very, very different. I mean, I had nowhere that I could do that type of thing to be aired out and all that. But a woman said to me on one of the posts, she was a watercolor artist, and she said, if you want to paint like Bob Ross or like oil painting, do watercolor. That never had occurred to me. Why? Because I didn't know enough about watercolor. I understand completely now why, but at first I'm like, huh? And then I'm like, oh, and a light bulb went off. And so, because with water it flows, you can do the blendings and all that with the water. It's different, yes, but it's similar also. To say that, I said that to say this. Start listening to the other voice, the encouraging voice, the positive voice, the one that will get you moving in the direction to paint with watercolor or any other medium for that matter, but I'm mostly doing the watercolor. So I sure hope these messages help you. Every once in a while I'm going to come on and kind of put on an encouraging message for whoever needs it out there. And basically we all need it out there, because there are many other things in life that one message might spur something else. You may hear this and it may speak to you in a way for some other entirely different thing in your life, that all of a sudden you're like, I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to try that. See what happens. That's all you need to do is try it. Like I said, the worst that can happen is you put it away and you don't do it. I urge you to keep trying. It's something you want in your heart. It's something you'd like to do. Keep trying and keep affirming yourself. And don't get discouraged at first. Everybody starts in the beginning. Everybody starts in small steps and gradually gets a little better, and it takes quite a lot of time. Like I said, I don't know how many months or whatever it took me to get that, leaving the white space thing. But if I didn't beat myself up too hard, then my mind would remember better the next time. And the more you you might need little notes, put little notes beside your work or whatever. Or an alarm, and you know what that alarm means. Don't forget the white spaces, So anyway, I just wanted to say those things this morning, and let me know. You could comment and question or whatever in these videos, and I'd love to talk with you. Um, I have an email there. You can email me if you want to. And most of all, just start going on this adventure that you want to go on. And put your best foot forward, one foot at a time, one step at a time, and enjoy it. Enjoy whatever part of it you have succeeded in. Enjoy the moment you begin. That's big. That's huge. So take care, everyone. Till the next time. And bye for now.